Welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I'm Roger Killen, the organizer. Today, Peyvand Danesh is going to help you to help you and me and the rest of us on this call to learn how to flourish, as opposed to what we normally do in a default mode, which is learn how to merely survive. Now, before Peyvand starts delivering his talk, let's get to know him a little bit better as a person. And to that end, I have three questions for Peyvand. Peyvand, number one, please tell us about your greatest accomplishment.
I think one of my greatest accomplishments, and one that really shifted gears for me, is really understanding my limiting beliefs. Once I understood that, and it's a continuous thing, once I understood my current limiting beliefs, I understood what was holding me back. That was probably one of the deciding factors in shifting my gears to where I am today.
Great. Now, I assume you have a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yes.
What item on your bucket list excites you the most?
The one item really excites me is to be able to do what I do, but throughout all of Europe. I never got a chance. The economics was just not there when I was young to do the whole traveling in Europe and go. I've been to a few here and there, but to actually work for an entire year and do the work that I do and travel throughout Europe is on top of the list.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And my final question is, what's your favorite quote and what makes it your favorite?
Oh, this one really stopped me in my tracks. It really did. I was struggling, not getting where I wanted, not getting the results I wanted. And of course, my mentor, the great Bob Proctor, I heard him once say, he said, thoughts become things. And if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And that completely shifted my gears. And it just stopped me. And it just, ever since then, I recited, think about it every single day.
What was the very first word of that quote?
Thoughts. Thoughts become things.
D-O-G-S.
T-H. Thoughts become things. T-H-I-N. Thoughts. Yeah.
Thoughts become. Okay, beautiful. Love it. Great. Now, participants, would you please turn on your video? In other words, come on camera. Peyvand is going to get his energy from you, and there's precious little energy going around if you don't come on camera. So please, if at all possible, come on camera. Stay muted and type any questions that you have into the chat. At about every 10-minute intervals, I will turn to Peyvand and I will pose all your questions aggregated, and then we'll move forward in 10-minute intervals. This workshop is going to be recorded and you'll be sent a link, likely be tomorrow sometime. And I think that's about all I need to say. Peyvand, are you ready to knock our socks off?
I'm ready.
Then I am going to spotlight myself. You need to bring up your slides and then you just take it away.
All right, just let me know when you've got them all on the full screen so I can start.
We're all good. She's all yours. Right. Take her away.
Perfect. All right. Well, I thought I'd introduce a little bit about my background and just give you where I am. You know, I do live in North Vancouver, British Columbia, in wonderful Canada, a father of three. My wife is there, Sherry. And as you can see, we have a lovely dog there, Chloe. And I like to travel. And, you know, I've been able to do this just this year, and it's just phenomenal what I've been able to do. And I just love traveling, doing the work that I do. And I explained a little bit, you know, my bucket list is really do the entire Europe while I'm traveling. So the work that I've been doing is very gratifying. I love what I do, and it's been able to really help me accomplish what it is that I can for my wife, be able to provide for my kids, and for my clients the same. So there's a little bit more about my journey. All right, so give you a little bit of background about my education and experience so you know where I'm coming from. I have a Bachelor of Commerce from University of British Columbia back in 2003, a minor in organizational behavior management, and majored in transportation logistics. And when you put two of them together, well, where do you end up? You end up with a lot of logistics companies that I worked at. I've worked with the Canadian National Railway, which is Canada's largest railway. I worked with them for a number of years. I worked for DP World, which is a Dubai Port World, who own a number of container terminals. I worked for the News Group, who used to, always send all the newspapers and magazines everywhere with the books all distributed everywhere. And I worked for Genco Supply Chain Solutions. Now, what does logistics have anything to do with what we're talking about today? Because of my background in organizational behavior management and in logistics, there weren't really a lot of people in my forte about helping teams grow, individuals grow, become better at what they're doing. So I started being taken from company to company, from group to group, helping manage and develop their people. And throughout the last, good portion of 15 years when I was doing that, there was one common denominator I found. We were getting superior results when I was there. Not to impress you or anything, but we were doing good work. The teams were developing, people were growing, we were getting results. And because of that, I got shifted around to different departments. But something happened as soon as I left the departments. People started going back to their own habits. Things that we've started doing a lot, like what's going on. Then I started doing a lot of research. Then I realized that this is a corporation nightmare. Corporations fall victims to the great training robbery. $160 billion is spent in training and education and just in the US, 20 billion in Canada, 356 was global in 2019. So there's no shortage of what we're learning, but there's a shortage of what we're doing. So I wanted to know and understand, why is this happening? We know a lot, but do we in fact do it? And there lies why it happened. I ran into this amazing person, Bob Proctor, who the moment I found out what he does, I had to fly to Toronto. This is pure COVID. I flew there, met him, understood what he did, and understood how he got results, is that getting people to do what it is, what they already know how to do. Let me repeat that again. We get people to do what you already know how to do, but our paradigm stops us in our tracks. And we'll go a lot into detail about that today. So what's the workshop all about today? Today I want to help you understand, why is it that only 3% of the population really make it? And I'm not talking about becoming a billionaire, but really make it in the sense of what you want to accomplish, whether it be your health, your happiness, your wealth, whatever it is you want to create. Why is it that only 3% ultimately succeed? What's holding us back? What's going to drive us to get the results and be focused and ultimately get rid of overwhelm? Over 80–90% of us are overwhelmed and therefore aren't taking the steps forward to getting the results we want. So we want to get rid of overwhelm, but you can't get rid of overwhelm without taking the right steps. And then ultimately, we're going to go over some steps we can take today, some action items I'm going to leave with you that you can effectively start today and get some results. Because effectively, this is what the whole base of a workshop is. Where are we? All right. So do we want to struggle or do we want to flourish? I think we all know we want to flourish. Now, how do we do that? And what's holding us back? Here it is, my favorite quote. Thoughts become things. And if you could see it in your mind, you could hold it in your hand. But a lot of times what happens, the thoughts that we're holding in our mind are exactly what we don't want. There lies the problem. This is one of the major factors that what I was doing when I was struggling. I wasn't getting the results while I was holding up all the wrong thoughts. And hence the results weren't coming through. It's simple, but yet are we doing it? And I'm going to keep repeating that. A lot of the things that I'll mention to you today, you may already know. Some may be new, some may be old, but ultimately, you know a lot, but are we doing it? All right, So in order to get the results we want to be disciplined. We want to be driven. We want to be focused. And once you tackle these three, you got so many things on the list. We want to get rid of overwhelm. Once you become driven, disciplined, and learn how to be really focused every day, you get the results you want. Because how do you turn a great year? A great year doesn't just happen on its own. A great year starts by having a great day. You turn a great day into a great few days, you have a great week. A great week turns into a great month. And before you know, you've got an amazing, great year ahead of you. So a great year just doesn't happen by accident, right? So how do we get rid of overwhelm? Well, 96% of all our results that we have is based on our mindset. Now, I know a lot of us are going to challenge that and say, well, what about the strategy? The strategy is important. Absolutely. The strategy is very important. But how did the strategy come about? It came about from the mindset. So how do results happen? And do they just happen? There's two things that we need to know when we want to get results and get the success we want. We want to know where we are and where we want to go. And a lot of times we think that as soon as I have the goal, I'm going to get the results I want. I've got where I want to go. And as soon as I've got the goal, I'm going to get there. That may be some true. A lot of people may not have goals. They may not have the right goals. They may have the goals that we talk about are goals that excite you. If the goal doesn't excite you and doesn't scare you, it's not going to motivate you. It's not going to motivate you. It's not going to step you forward to get the results you will. With the right coaching, as Bob told me once, the first conversation I had with Bob, he said, Peyvand, what's your goal? And I said at the time, you know, Bob, I'd love to just increase my income by 5%. And he looked at me puzzled. And he said, well, how about I help you turn your annual income into your monthly income? And I was like, what? I'm like, how am I going to go turn into an annual income into my monthly income? So those are the goals that we want to work with. Something that excites you, scares you, because once it excites you, scares you, you take the step forward. So what's holding us back? So imagine you've got the right goal, you've got the right ambition, you've got the great strategy. What's holding us back to get the results? Remember all those people that I helped manage in a corporation? This is it, the paradigm. Now, you may heard of paradigms, or maybe not. I'm not sure, maybe by a hand or maybe click a yes or a no in the chat. How many of you have heard what paradigms are? I see good, some hands. This is good. We have a small group so I can see everybody. Jason, Leslie, Victoria, that's good. So paradigms is the mental programming, right? That has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And everything we do is habitual, everything. So we are a walking, talking, programmed machine. And in fact, our subconscious mind is a machine in such a way. It's a goal-seeking organism that is constantly driving to get results. Now you may say, well, if that's the case, why am I not getting the results? It's the paradigm holding us back. So paradigm is a mental programming and it has this exclusive control over you. Now, how did this programming get into that? We'll get into that a little bit. So let's look at the mind, because like I said, 96% of all our result is structured by the mind. So we'll do a quick exercise right now. So I'd like you to do is close your eyes. Okay, I'll close my eyes too, and we'll do this quick exercise together. Okay, so what I'd like to do is close your eyes, and I'd like you to do is take yourself to your kitchen and position where your dishwasher is. Now, you've probably seen your dishwasher. I want you to see, what color is it? Stainless steel, is it black, is it white? You know, we've got the buttons at the top, is it the front? It's got the 3 racks when you open it, or is it 2 racks? Now, in relation to your dishwasher, where's your fridge? Maybe it's on the side. Now, how many doors does it have? 2-door, a 4-door, 3-door? Maybe it's just 1 door and you got the fridge and the freezer on side by side. And what color is that? Now what I want you to do is I want you to picture your mind. What does your mind look like? Can anyone describe their mind? And I don't mind you going on mute and just telling me, what does your mind look like? What is the picture that you saw? Because when I was talking about a dishwasher came up. When I talked about a fridge came up. What does the mind look like to you? Leslie.
Mind is an activity that occurs in every cell of our body. So when I think of mind, I think of a network. It is not in any one place, yet in every single cell.
Yeah, that's a really great description of it. I love that. That's exactly what mind is, because mind is movement, mind is entity. But how about a picture that we can work with? Most people, I think most people may have seen the brain, right? Ashok, go ahead.
My mind is something like a CPU is to a computer. You don't see it, but it is controlling the entire operation of the computer. Same way, your mind is controlling the entire operation of your thinking, your behavior, your actions, your everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, another great definition of it. And that's exactly what a mind does. So a lot better responses today than I got from my last sessions, because last session we were all thinking of looking at the brain, and this is where this is good. But I want us to have a picture, because we see in pictures. And until we see something in pictures, we can't change it. And in order to affect our mindset, we need to have a picture to work with. And this is what Dr. Thurman Fleet came up with back in 1934. He was in the healing arts, holistic health, and he said, in order for us to really treat the body, we need to have an understanding of how does this mind work and what does this mind look like? Because mind is movement. It's not the brain. The brain is just a physical form of it. So what does this mind look like? And this is by far one of the most powerful ideas Bob Proctor learned, and he's been teaching it ever since now. He's no longer with us, but he has enlisted this. And one of the things I ask you to do, and I'm going to drop later on in the chat, a PDF form that you can take with you, fill out. One of the exercises, what I'd like you to do is draw this for yourself 10 times a day for the next 5 days. Every day. Draw this picture that I'm about to show you, because this is a picture of the mind. And once you understand how your mind works, you're going to see things differently. So what did Dr. Thurman Fleet show? He drew this big circle. And he put a line right through it. He called the top half the conscious mind, the bottom the subconscious mind, and maybe to our surprise, the little part's the body. And this is what the mind looks like. Now we're going to go into a little bit detail about that, but this is how our mind works. Okay, now you probably see this, but at the top you have those antennas: see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Those are your 5 senses. Your 5 senses are constantly contacting your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is being continuously impacted by the outside: what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. And from your conscious mind, you're impacting your paradigm, which is in your subconscious mind. And we'll go into a lot more detail on that. But for now, I just want to show you, case to you, what the mind really looks like. Now, can we shift this to get the results we want and make sure that we're not struggling anymore and flourishing? It's all in the paradigm. So understanding the mind is extremely important in getting the results we want. Okay, so let's go with a little bit more detail now. Conscious mind. Conscious mind, this is your thinking mind. This is your educating mind. This is your intellect. The big difference between a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, I'd like you to remember today, is that your conscious mind, you can choose to accept or reject. If I'm calling someone a pink elephant, you know you're not a pink elephant. I say someone, you're going to go and jump off the building, you're going to fly, your conscious mind is going to say, there's no way I'm going to fly. I'm going to fall down, gravity is going to pull me down. So your conscious mind is your ability to accept or reject. Your subconscious mind is completely different. Your subconscious mind, though, is the emotional mind. This is where the paradigm falls. And your subconscious mind must accept whatever you plant in it. And I really mean plant, because you're like your own farmer. You are the gardener in your own subconscious mind. You choose at your conscious mind what you're going to plant in your subconscious. You can plant a field of roses and you'll get a field of roses. If you choose to plant a field of nightshade, you will get the same amount of abundance in your subconscious mind through that way. So it all becomes very relative. How do we get the results? How do we get the body to give us the results? Is through our subconscious mind. And of course, you have your 5 sensory factors. So this is us today. We got the internet, other people, the news. This is where we're seeing, hearing things, and it's impacting our conscious mind. And it's affecting us in the fact that we get overwhelmed. We start struggling because our conscious mind is going all over the place. What am I going to do here? What am I going to do? What SEO? What YouTube? What Facebook? What social media should I go? Man, it's like all over the place. But look at it when we're at a baby. We had our parents. Now some babies now have internet too. What happens now? They didn't have a conscious mind. Everything they have, they go straight into their subconscious mind. So this programming started when we were young. This is how our programming is right now. When we were young, this is how we got programmed. Today, we're essentially the same, believe it or not. We have gotten rid of this conscious mind and we're letting everything from the outside world go right into our subconscious mind, and we're getting overwhelmed because of it. We're not using our conscious mind to the way it's designed. And I'll teach you what's in the conscious mind, and you realize that we're not really effectively using it. So we're in turn at times really behaving like we were kids. We're letting the outside world control us. We're letting the outside world impact our decisions. And in a sense, like I said, we're behaving now as though there is no conscious mind. But there's good news. There were 6 mental faculties that you have. You've been given to you for free. That it's in your conscious mind that you can impact your subconscious mind. And these are it: your ability to reason, your intuition, your perception, your will, your ability to focus is in your conscious mind. Imagination and memory, these are the 6 mental faculties that we need to develop. And as you develop these skills more and more, you'll start realizing that they are become so strong and so effective. No longer will the outside world impact you. No longer will COVID or 2008 financial crisis impact anyone, stock market, anything like that impact you, because now you are becoming fully control of yourself and your destiny. The conscious mind is a powerful tool that we take for granted because we're given it to us for free. And at times we don't understand how it really works. If I were you, my recommendation is take a look at which of these, and I recommend the will. Take one and really try to develop it over the next week. One tip I'll give you about the will and how you can easily strengthen your will, because the will gives you the ability to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all others. And the way you do that is very simple. You can draw a dot on the wall, you can have a candle in front of you and just stare at it. And just stare at it for a minute. Now, after a few seconds, you may get distracted, but you know what? Keep looking at it. After a minute, after a week, take it up to 5 minutes. As you strengthen your will, you become focused, you'll realize any activity that's upon you, you become even more focused on that. And the more focus you get rid of overwhelm. Now, this is where, going back to the people that I was managing, all those corporations, everyone was smart. Everyone had, we had school, we had training, we had this. School gave us all sorts of knowledge. If knowledge was power, then you wouldn't have, unfortunately, doctors die of heart attack because of extra smoking or drinking or bad eating habits. Jason will probably know. He has probably patients that are doctors that don't have a healthy lifestyle. He gives me the thumbs up. Thank you. And why is that? Now, they know better. They're probably the most educated people on the planet, not knowing how to take care of their own bodies. But it's not the knowing, it's the doing. And Ashok probably knows some economics that are highly educated, that are bankrupt, that can make money. And he shakes his head. Thank you. Why is that? They know better, but they don't do it. Why? It's the paradigm. The paradigm is this habitual programming that's in the background. And no matter how hard we try to fight it, it's reversible. You can change it. You can reprogram it, just like you can reprogram a computer, but it's not as easy as done. And I guess, fortunate for me, you need a coach. So we have superior knowledge, but inferior results. We have all this intellect, all this knowledge. There has never been a shortage of knowledge, I think, in this world. From YouTube, from TikTok, from Instagram, there is no shortage of knowledge, but there is a shortage of results. So what does that create? This causes a lot of confusion and frustration for most people. And it did to me for years, because I was that person. I was educated, I was getting results, but I wasn't getting the results, sorry. But now I'm like, why is that? It's because I didn't understand this. And once I understood that and really dove into it at a deep level, everything started shifting. So we have all this knowledge, but we got the bad results. Now, in order you want to change the results and drive your body forward to another level and drive your thinking and your paradigm, you need to have a new paradigm. And once you have a new paradigm, you get a new results. It's that simple, really. So what is the paradigm control? We keep talking about this paradigm. And if there's any questions, by all means, I love the fact that we are a group of this size and you can pose your questions and we can even have a conversation if you like. But if not, I can keep going for hours on this.
Peyvand, could I, you have a question, and the question is from me?
Sure.
For years and years and years, I have struggled with my weight, and I've struggled with eating too much. Now, I think I know the difference between good food and bad food. And I can manage until I go to a social event and there in front of me is as much food as my heart could desire. And that's when I start binge eating. What is going on in my paradigm that causes me to do what I intellectually know to be absolutely the wrong thing to do?
In an event when, at times like this, where someone has made the effort on losing weight, for example, and I love this example, when someone has made the attempt to lose weight, it's just something we're going to get into a little bit more too. It's this thing called the self-image. The self-image is housed in the paradigm. So when somebody at first decides to make a change in their, I'll go back to this diagram, when they consciously make a decision to lose the weight, it's first done at the conscious level, which is good, but that doesn't give you permanent results. This is where the self-image is the image of we see of ourselves. So the self-image is a programming that's working in the background. And the way it works is this, it says, it's just like a flight path on an airplane. The pilot takes off and he puts the autopilot going from, let's say, Toronto to Vancouver. Once he's in autopilot, there might be some deviation, some air turbulence comes around. And what happens is self-image starts deviating from the course, but the self-image recognizes that change. And it says, oh, we got to go back. And the going back is the person losing a bit of weight. And as they shift gears, because this is only done at a conscious level, the deviation of the self-image brings them back on course. They go off course, on course. And this is why a lot of times where somebody's trying to lose the weight, it's only done at the conscious level. They need to learn how to do it at the subconscious level. Then they have full control of their actions. And therefore, they'd be happy to just not binge eat. Maybe they'll just grab the one cookie or the one slice of pizza. They won't go binge eat because the change has been done at the subconscious level. That person has only made a shift at the conscious level. So Jason, who's an expert at this, he'll know that he'll also have maybe three types of people. One who go all out, they've made the effort, they've changed their paradigm subconsciously. They're unconscious competent. They don't know what they did, but they've shifted gears and it's a permanent results. And this is why, I like the fact that Jason provides accountability because he's helping them change that paradigm. The other people, they'll actually gain weight because they've only done it at the conscious level. They'll lose some weight, they'll gain some weight, they'll lose some weight. And ultimately they become so frustrated, they actually gain another 5-10 pounds before they even started with any health professional. And it's not to the dismissal of the program, but it's because they were personally so frustrated, they blamed the health coach. And all it is because they were working at the conscious level. So it's the self-image at the paradigm in the subconscious mind that they have to change. And once they do that, the game is over. Like Now you've created a new habit, a habitual behavior, and a new paradigm for yourself that there's no going back. And results in business is just like that. Once you create the habits and the self-image of yourself that you want, there's no going back. The results will naturally come. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. It does. And maybe sometime as we go through this, you could answer the obvious next question. How does one change one's paradigm at the unconscious or subconscious level? But I don't want to take all your time. So just keep in mind the question.
No, that's good. I will come into that. But first, let's take a quick look at what paradigms control. So we understand what is this programming in control of, and why is it that in control of my results? Our perception, how you perceive your situation is a programming. You have two people, their house will catch on fire. One will say, you know what, I'm grateful for what I have. The other one goes, the eyes are bawling, I've lost everything. It's a perception issue. Same are with our business. It's a perception on how many clients you can get, how much you can charge for your business, how many sales you can have, and are you worth what you're charging? It's all a perception. Our use of time. You know people that are so effective, so productive in a day that most people can't even get done in a week. And then you have the reverse. You have people that can't even get enough done in a month, and one person does it in a week. So you have use of time, creativity. We're all so creative, but we believe, oh, artists are only creative. And effectiveness. How effective are you at your business? It's a paradigm. It's a programming. And productivity goes hand in hand with use of time a little bit. And your logic. Logic is this invisible ceiling that we have. Is it illogical that man can fly? Millions of years, nobody thought we could fly. Never thought we can go in outer space. What is the internet? Now we have Zoom, and we're all connected here online. This is all logic. What is it logically you believe you can achieve in your business? And of course, all of this impacts your ability to earn money. Now I'm focusing on money, but all of this impacts your health and your happiness.
Question from Jason. Is anxiety the conscious mind or more of the unconscious? Using medication as one tool for anxiety, is it changing the subconscious mind?
It's a really good question. Anxiety is a form of the body being at dis-ease. Hyphenate that word. Body that is at dis-ease creates anxiety. So what happens is the energy is coming through that mind. The mind is interpreting it in a negative situation. So there's no hope, but there's more despair. Once that body goes into despair, it becomes anxious. Nobody yells around and says, "Oh, I'm anxious. I'm very nervous," or he's got this anxiety within them, right? Nobody runs around and says, "I've got anxiety." So what happens is all the energy is suppressed within that body. The body, therefore, becomes turns into a unvibrating effect. So it's no vibrating at a positive mode, it's vibrating as a negative. So you become at dis-ease. And anxiety is therefore the conscious mind pressing into the subconscious mind based on a number of factors. Most of it is from the outside world. So what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch as impacted through the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And now everybody believes that it's a problem that needs to be treated with medication. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say that that person should not take it, but it is very much curable through learning your own mindset. I hope that answers it, Jason.
No further questions. Back to you, Peyvand.
Okay. So once you get rid of this box blocked in that we get the results that we want. So be able to shape your future, we need to be willing and able to change our paradigm. It is paramount. Bob at the age of 87 was still working on his self-image. Self-image sets the boundaries of one's individual accomplishment. If you've ever read the book Psycho-Cybernetics or the Joe Barker, the author of Paradigm, I highly recommend you grab both of those books. The book Psycho-Cybernetics, I highly recommend, is really the foundation of all books on psychology, what we know today about the mindset and how to get results. So I highly recommend reading Psycho-Cybernetics. So ultimately, you can create your own economy. You really can. Through the mindset, you can create your own economy, create the results that you want. And here's a few times that, this is me in training. How can you create your own economy? One thing I'll tell you, most of the people that I work with aren't even in Vancouver anymore. Because of COVID and all scenario, I have my team in Belgium that we work with my clients. I have my US/Asia team. It's become a very, very obvious thing where we can tap into our mind, get the results that we want, work with the people that we want. Now, I'll give you a few examples of some of my clients. This is Fernando. He is actually from Vancouver. I started working with Fernando back in 2020. And in 6 months, he literally transformed himself. And you can see the pictures speak for themselves. In 6 months, he transformed from where you see on the left to where you see on the right. This is all about mindset. And then, of course, just recently in 2022, I had the privilege of being there with him in Las Vegas, where he was the first time going into the US championships, and he won gold in his heavyweight division.
Question for you from Jason. Is meditation working on the subconscious mind?
Yes, absolutely. When you work on meditation, you're tapping into your subconscious mind, and that's one way of shifting your paradigm. Yeah. And I highly recommend when you do meditate, you do it in the morning or late at night, because that's when your paradigm is not as vibrant as it is during the day. So your CPU, call it, in paradigm has not woken up yet. So in the morning, your paradigm and conscious mind are a lot more aligned, so you can impact it a lot more. Yeah.
No further questions?
Okay, good question. Making money. I have another client, Kian. He is in Dubai. He was losing in the financial markets in a big way, like big way. After 4 months of working together, he says, I'm so happy and grateful that I took the leap. Never thought mindset training was the missing link. My investment paid back in full and more. Thank you, Peyvand, for everything. Literally changed my life. You can see the charts. This is just the charts that he shared with me off of his desktop. So it's mindset. He was really losing out in the financial markets. Then we have Brianna. Brianna is another client of mine, and she's in Boston, actually. She was averaging $10,000 a month, working in her household designing business, but she wanted more. $10,000 US a month is probably good for most people, but she wanted more. Now, after over 6 months of working together, she's averaging $25K a month now. Says, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've transferred what I thought was impossible to what it is now beyond what I can achieve. It is, I'm now set and looking at turning my previous annual income into my monthly income. And then on the left, you have Liz. She's in Belgium, and her dream was to take her hot sauce business through her restaurants that she sells and be a distributor of their own hot sauce. She also has a new gin line that she's put out that I should put the picture up here as well. But she also has a new gin that she also produces with her husband. Again, I worked with her for just roughly 8-9 months now. So it's all about mindset. One thing I think you'll realize with all the different clients that we have here, the one common denominator is that it's a mindset. The one thing is they're all from different fields and backgrounds. So how do you shift your paradigm? Thinking into results, this is the program that really is a powerful mindset training tool, and it's designed to change your paradigm and a permanent result. Because once you shift your paradigm, you make a permanent result and there's no going back. It's like the chicken coming out of the egg, right? The chicken comes out of the egg, there's no going back into the egg. And this is what happens when you release it. Our job and what we do is not to teach you more. You already know what it is to get you to do more. And when you release that power from within, man, oh man, the stars, like the limit, there is no limit where you can achieve. So this program is designed to change your paradigms. Further to that, we also have a powerful system that we work with designed to drive your results. Yes, we also have strategy. We work on mindset, but we also have strategies on how to master your day. And I talked a lot about that early on. How do you master your day so your days become not overwhelmed, but in the sense that you get a lot more done in a day than ever before. And you look back, you're like, what? I just accomplished that? Like, this would have taken me a week to do before. But no, once you become fully control of your own destiny and you become control of your mindset and you are able to block the outside world, this is what you can accomplish. So self-image accelerator, we also help you with self-image, because like I said, that is a very powerful tool. Sales training, again, strategy. People that need sales training, we have sales training for them as well. Because it's all about mindset, we provide it as well. Calendar optimizer, how to program your calendar to be optimized, you know? Like if I were to share with you my calendar, like it looks a little something like this. Everything is blocked off. So if I share you my calendar right now, you can book a time with me anytime. And you know, I don't have to check with you. If I'm available, you're available. If I got that 30 minutes, I'm going to be there. So optimize your calendar and your pay funnels. You know, we're charging for a business, but do you have your pay funnel set up so that if I want to pay for you right now, can I send you a link and get it done? Some people have, some people don't. And if you need help with that, we bring you strategies on that. And there's a lot more that goes into the business and strategy we provide, but ultimately the mindset is key. So I want to quickly give you a few tip pointers, but remember this screen that we had, and 3 huge aspects of our results that I mentioned that's in subconscious mind is our self-image, praxis, and attitude. So let's go a little bit deep into that, and I'll help you get a few tips on how to shift your paradigm. So you can take some steps right now. So first, let's talk about how our paradigms changed. In order to find out how it's changed, how is it formed? There's only 2 ways to form a paradigm. One is an emotional impact. Usually emotional impacts of negative. So like COVID, 9/11, financial crisis, all of those make a complete emotional impact to you. So therefore they change your paradigm. Now that doesn't happen often, thank God, but when it does, these are emotional impacts, usually negative. The only other positive emotional impact I could see is someone who's just doing horribly in their life. They don't have, frankly, their act together, but lo and behold, they have a newborn. And that newborn just shifts their gear. The responsibility for taking this care of this child now just shifts their gear. And you may know some people or heard of those stories. So that's an emotional impact. 95% of the time when we want to impact our paradigm, very simple. Time, space, repetition. Let me repeat again. Time, space, repetition. So you're repeating the same thing over a course of time. The problem is we're not disciplined enough to do it often enough to make the change. So time, space, repetition. What do I mean by that? I could say something to you right now 1,000 times in the next 10 minutes. It's not going to make the same impact as though if I tell you the same thing once every day for the next 1,000 days. So you have to let the time, space, repetition take into effect your paradigm. You say it once, it makes your paradigm might not even listen to you the first time. You say the 50th time, it might say, oh, what's this stuff we're talking about now? What is this I'm listening to? I'm hearing different things. The 500th time, there might be a shift. The 1,000th time, you might see an effect. So it's time, space, repetition that will help you shift gears in your paradigm in all aspects of your life. Remember what we talked about controlling your perception, your logic, all that? The problem is we're not disciplined enough to do it repetitively in a long period of time. So let's talk about the 3 main factors that I find really give you bang for the buck, give you the most results if you were able to do this. So self-image. This is the image you see of yourself. It's that simple. Now, you have a vision, your inner self, you have a very, maybe it's vague, maybe it's clear, of a vision of the person that you want to become. How does that person walk, talk, act, behave? How does that person greet someone? How do they person treat their clients? How does that person get clients? How do you speak to your clients? How do you speak to your prospect? This is like, and there's 10,000 other questions you can pose. This is all about your self-image. So what you need to do is first decide on the character you want to become. What are the characteristic traits? It's just like a writer, I suppose, that wants to put together a screen for a Hollywood movie. They sit down and do all that work. How is this person going to walk? How's this person going to talk? How's this person going to greet people? Are they always like chewing a gum when they talk to people? Are they always eating? How do they dress? How do they walk? How do they shake someone's hand? This is all self-image. And this has always been programmed into us. And this has a direct effect on the results we get in our business. So visualize yourself every day on the person you want to become. I would take 5 characteristics only. Take 5 characteristics that you like to change right now and work on them on the next day. And just visualize yourself being that person. Because until we visualize ourselves to be that person, Jason asked about meditation, until we actually visualize it, it's never going to come to fruition. Next is praxis. Praxis is very powerful in the sense that what we're doing is we're integrating our belief in our behavior. So going back to Roger's question about the person that wants to lose the weight, that person believes they can do it. That's at the conscious level. They know they can lose the 20, 30, 40 pounds of weight and get rid of it. That's at the conscious level. If I ask most people, if you go outside on the street and ask them, do you believe you're going to make it in life? You believe you're going to become a millionaire? You believe you're going to make $500,000? They'll probably tell you, yeah, you know what, I am. But here's the thing. Subconsciously, does their behavior match that? So praxis is the integration of belief and behavior. Once you integrate those two, that's when really fireworks happen. Because now you consciously made the decision, subconsciously you're acting, walking, talking, behaving as the person you want to become. Then you ultimately attract the result that you want. So you got to believe it at the conscious level, and you got to pick up the habits at the subconscious level. So I would pick 2, and here it is, just 2. 2 habits that you want to form every day to create the person you want to become. Now, what are those 2? It could be picking up the phone and calling 50 people every day. Maybe it's going into 5 different networks every day. Maybe it's coming to this Tuesday call every week, making a commitment and dedication. I am going to come here. And when I'm here, I am going to reach out to 10 other people and ask for their number and see if we can help each other. Now, consciously, that makes sense. Like, yeah, that's not, that's not far-fetched, but are we doing it? And it's constant time-space repetition of praxis, integrating these 2 that will help you get the results. So ultimately, there's a decision we want to make. And the decision is simple. We talked about it at the beginning. Do we want to struggle or do we want to flourish? So today, what I want to present to you was an understanding of mindset, an understanding of why is it that we sometimes struggle. And it's understanding of that it's because we don't have a clear idea of how our mindset works. We don't have a clear idea on how we can elevate ourselves to where we want to go, because we are at times maybe trapped in our own paradigm and not knowing it. We build our own cage and not know it. And once we learn how to free ourselves, the sky's the limit. Now, I'm not going to give really good credit to this quote, but I'm sure you've heard of it. You give a man a fish, you feed him for the night. You teach him how to fish, you fed him for a lifetime. And this is essentially what we do. We help people understand their mindset, how to shift their paradigm. And once you shift your paradigm and you understand it, there's no end to what you can accomplish. One of my first conversations with Bob was the same. He said, Peyvand, what have you tried? And I went through the whole list of things that I've tried and I wasn't getting the results I wanted. And he said, and I said, Bob, I've tried everything and nothing works. He said, well, you've tried everything. Why don't you try it my way? And I started thinking. And then he said, no, Peyvand, you give me 6 months. And in 6 months, you'll need binoculars to look back to see where you came from. And I'm forever grateful to take him up on that offer, because it wasn't even 6 months that I look back to what I was able to accomplish in a short period of time that I had not even accomplished in like maybe 5 years, 6 years. And I thought I was getting results, and I wasn't. But once you tap into your paradigm and release your own potential, there is no end to where you want to go. So my offer to you is jump on a call with me. Have a 30-minute success call. I'm going to share you my calendar here. Just have a 30-minute success call. It's not a sales pitch. It's to understand what is it that you do, what might struggles you have, and see what we do is a good fit or not. And the one thing I can tell you is we have a risk-free reversal. Essentially, what it means that if you don't get the results you want, a substantial amount of our funds, we don't get paid. And this is, I ran into one man a while ago, and he said, Peyvand, if you're not selling something you can't guarantee, I suggest you start selling something else. And that just made me think, if I'm selling something and I want my clients to get results, shouldn't I put some sort of guarantee on it? And it just made sense to me that, yeah, I should. Because I want my clients to succeed, or else I'm just taking money from them. So yeah, a substantial amount of our money, of our cost, is only paid to us once you get results, because we guarantee our work, because we know what we're talking about. We know, but through Bob's work, through our teaching, and me as a certified coach with them, there's 50 years of study and experience in this. This is not just an overnight thing. This is over 50 years. So my ask is, take me up on this 30-minute offer, and we take it from there. That's it from me, Roger. Unless there are other questions.
That was uplifting. You've given me hope, and I'm quite sure the rest of us on this call are equally moved that you've shifted the needle much more towards the yes, I can do this kind of mindset. Are there any questions that are unanswered, unasked that you'd now like to ask? If not, I'm going to wrap up and send us all on our way so that we can
enjoy the rest
of our evening.
Yeah, I'm just going to share my calendar and everything in the chat there, Rogers, just so in case anybody wants to grab it real quick.
Okay, that makes it much easier for somebody to book you.
For sure. There it is. So if you want to copy paste that.
Have you put it in the chat?
I did. It should be there. Oh, I think I just put it to one person only.
Yeah, it's not showing.
There we go.
Okay, lovely.
Oh, there you go.
So Peyvand, while that's displaying, allow me on behalf of EIN to thank you hugely for giving us a new way of looking at the world, looking at our challenges, recognizing that while we believe we can, the secret is in the doing. And when we don't do, how can we get the result? Doesn't that make so much sense? Yes, I think it does.
It does. Thank you, Roger. Pleasure having you. Thank you so much for having me here. Real good pleasure to me.
Thank you very, very much.